Well, the PDP neck to me is just a party of absurdities, a meeting of absurdities. There are so many expectations, but the PDP members have come out to say that issues were raised and the neck was looking into them. I've always told you people I'm not a member of any political party. And even in the last elections, I voted for individuals and not parties. I voted across party lines based on your antecedents. So if the PDP is saying they are seized of all the problems, issues that are being raised, and the neck should be given some time to look into them and resolve those issues or come up with answers to those issues that were being raised by party members, well, so be it. If at the end of the day, Nigerians are not satisfied with what is going on in the PDP, they will still not vote for the party. It's as simple as that. So the PDP should also understand that it is a macabre dance at the theater of egocentricity.
Okay, let's bring in Barrister Wadi here.
You know,
The neck meeting, after the neck meeting, two arrests, lawmakers, Honorable Sokari, good boy Sokari of Ahoda constituency, and Honorable Ichemati Ezebunwo. We learned that Honorable Ezebunwo has been released. What? How did it get to this? I mean, from a neck meeting to arrest. I mean, what's really happening?
Good morning.
that's,
Can you hear
oh,
me?
okay,
Can
okay,
you
you're
hear me?
asking him. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
Yes.
I
It's
can
so.
hear you.
I should repeat the question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes. Did
Well,
you hear my? Did you get the question?
I got your question loud
Okay.
and clear.
Yes. Okay. So let's get the answer then.
Well, clearly, let me correct one impression. PDP, I'm a member of PDP, and from 1998 till date, and of course, when you look at the historical antecedent of PDP and how it was formed, up to date, a child that was born in 1998 is not a small child. And I think that what happened concerning the neck and those that were arrested, first of all, the power of arrest is within the ambit of the police by virtue of Section 4 of the Police Act. Nobody is above the law. It's an inherent right of the police to effect an arrest. That should be established. Now, like people were saying that it was tied and sponsored by the FCT minister, those arrests were under his orders. I want to correct one impression. The FCT minister is not a member of the police force. Neither is he the commissioner or IG of police. These people were under the watch list and wanted list of the police. And you know the kind of police we have in Nigeria. Recently, they have won a lot of medals. And these are people that within the expert intelligence here within Africa, the police in Nigeria are doing well. Now, these are people that before this time we've had crisis and we are still having crisis here in River State. These are people that before this time, before the next meeting, there were aspersions and tantrums, that before and after the next meeting, that they were going to, hit brim and fire and stones. These things were clearly said by most of them. And I think, it could be a covert operation or overt. The police may have gotten, watch of information concerning these aspersions. And I think it's also within the expert powers of the police to carry out arrest. If they are within the wanted list of the police, they are not above the law. Even within the Hallowed Chamber, if they are having their meetings, they are not under immunity. If they are having their meetings within the Hallowed Chamber, that is only when immunity covers them. As honorable member, we have seen those that have been arrested before. So it's not a new thing. You remember the case of Dino Milaye. You remember that of Rocha Sokorocha. So many of them, including Yaya Bello, who is also on watch list and wanted list. So let us not make it look as if it is one kind of, nobody is above the law. Well, by virtue of the Section 5 and Section 1 of the 1999 Constitution, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is supreme. No group of persons can take hostage this country. So for me, the police acted on intelligence. If there are Ichemado, one of them that was released, it was discovered that there was no alibi, he was not on wanted list, and there was no crime whatsoever. So he was released. So if there is an evidence against a citizen of Nigeria within the police watch list, they can effect arrest anywhere, anytime, any day. We have seen a lot of invitations emanating from the high and mighty, where the high and mighty is being arrested. So for me, I think PDP is not a small child. If they are having their next meeting and some politicians are overzealous to carry out the orders of the governor of the state, whether it is wrong or right, they think it is right to carry out any kind of orders without minding the consequence. This is what comes out of it.
All right, let me come back to Inkutare. You've listened to what Chimene has spoken about, but there seems to be a lot of fingers pointing to the EFCT minister in a lot of ways. First, it is also being said, I don't know maybe you clarified that these men who have been arrested are loyalists to the governor, Sim Fubara. And secondly, that, last week the governor did say that anybody or any local government chairman who is not loyal to him is also digging their feet. So, following that and post-NEC, we see these men arrested right outside the PDP NEC meeting, just as it closed its curtains on that meeting. I mean, how do you respond to what Mr. Wode is saying, alleging that every day we see lawmakers being arrested? This is nothing new.
The statement is tendentious. It decided on the grounds that he's just trying to embellish the facts. I strongly believe he knows what it is. You see, the action of the police is not just pestiferous, it's not just grotesque, but an endorsement of political pugilism. Now you say that the people are guilty or they intended to breach the peace in Abuja. He has also said that Ishemati Ezebo was arrested and released. So what sort of security report are you talking about? You should have known that Ishemati Ezebo was not part of those alleged to or who wanted to breach the peace in Abuja. If you were acting on information you gathered before then, you shouldn't have arrested him. That is number one. Number two, the lawmaker you're talking about lives in Rivers State. He does not have immunity. He could have been arrested even in Rivers State. Nobody would have prevented that arrest. If you were sincere, if you really had information, if you really had security reports that they wanted to breach the peace in Abuja during the NEC meeting, you would have arrested them. Now, as at the time of the arrest, you didn't find anything on them. Who were those? Who were those goons they commissioned to breach the peace? Because they were not breaching the peace as at the time you arrested them. So who were those they commissioned? Who came out to say, yes, that we were commissioned by these characters to breach the peace in Abuja? Mention one. Nobody came out to say that. So, and as at the time of the arrest, from the information we gathered, it was the local government chairman of Ikwere local government who was pointing at those to be arrested. So, on what grounds? I'm not saying on what authority, because like he rightly said, the police has a right to arrest in order to prevent a damage or during the damage. Nobody's arguing that. That's irrefragable. But the issue is this. Who are those that came out? Because the man you've arrested has continuously said that he is not there to breach any peace. So when you say you acted on information, who are the informants? Who are those that came out to say, yes, we are commissioned to do this? We want to get that. The truth is, if you look at the concatenation of arrests, whenever you have politics or whenever there are political crises, you'll find out that even during before the last general elections, certain persons were arrested on trumped-up charges. Some, their businesses were closed down. Immediately, some of them reconciled with the FCT minister. All cases in court some of them whose cases were even in court, their cases were withdrawn. Some of them whose businesses were shut, they were reopened. That's why I say it is political pugilism. And why is the arrest taking place in Abuja? It is because they believe that the FCT minister is there and is going to bring his puissance to bear. He's going to bring his weight to bear. And that's why the arrest is taking place in Abuja. Because the man you arrested, the two persons you arrested, they don't have immunity. The police is a national police, it's not a state police. So they could have as well arrested them in Port Harcourt. It's not like even the Yahya Bello, they don't have the clout Yahya Bello has. They could have been arrested in Port Harcourt. Now we also gather from the story information that they want to pin the charge of terrorism on them, on the lawmaker. Why is that the case? Because of the arson that took place in the House of Assembly. And because these other ones are loyal to the governor, Fubara'S. If you're investigating the arson, nobody should be spared. You should investigate all the 31 members of the House of Assembly. Because up till now, they've not come up with proof. They've not got any evidentiary proof to say Mr. A is guilty or Mr. B is guilty. It's still investigation. And the Attorney General of the Federation has said to the world that he wants to take over that matter. So on what grounds are you arrested? How can you justify that arrest? If not for intimidation. Just to intimidate those that are loyal to the governor of Rivers State. It's as simple as that. And they believe that the best place to intimidate them is in Abuja, where the FCC minister holds sway.
Okay, now let's bring in Barrister Wadi again on all this. There's a number of things that Opunabo has just brought up. You're going to respond to that. But you said in your remarks that these two lawmakers were on some sort of watch list. Do you know that for a fact, or is that your own view that they were on a watch list?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me rebut this for the opt-in time. I think we must have to understand something that is going on in Rivers State. There are a lot of accomplices and mercenaries whose duty on daily basis is to ensure that they speak for the governor, even when they don't have a brief. There is this consciousness to be relevant and raise some fallacies, unnecessary fallacies. And we have seen a lot of undiplomatic attempts. Now, let me just raise this clearly. Police can arrest anybody, anywhere, anytime. We have seen people that even before and after, recently somebody was saying the FCT minister, there was a campaign, just as the governor is doing now. There is a regular Thanksgiving that is going on, virtually on daily basis, even in the dream. They are doing Thanksgiving. The question I'm asking, is anybody attacking them? Has anybody attacked any of the Thanksgiving? I don't think that the police will be acting on nothing. They have been, I can tell you that these are investigations that are going on. You can effect arrest anywhere. And like he was saying, that is on orders of the FCT minister and the local government chairman, local government chairman. I want to say this. There are a lot of merchants who are trying to be relevant for the present governor. And I have said it. For us to have a peaceful River State, there must be an existentiality of a state. There must be an existentiality for us to tell the governor the truth and nothing but the truth. When you look at the accomplices that are still working with the governor, moving from one place to another, go to the radio stations, the whole Port Harcourt, the same people are shouting, raising premonitions, creating cacophonies. And these are the same people that will come on air and say it's by the orders of the FCT. And they are threatening the peace of the state. They are threatening not only on the state, they go to, some of them will hire buses that are heading to Abuja. I can tell you that the meeting they had some few days ago, one Thanksgiving, some persons couldn't pass, you couldn't pass the thoroughfare that was here. They were blocking the whole place until you profess that you have an allegiance to the governor. It has become a fraternity. So for me, I think there is something we are not getting. One, we must underscore the fact that the police, the essence of the police is to ensure that there is peace. Secondly, what were they going there for? Were they invited in that next meeting? What was the motive behind it? We are all here in the state and in sister radio stations. Some of them were moving in their troops. Somebody is saying that is a top of charges. How? I am here to tell you that in several cases, even in where the FCT minister is from, they had a Thanksgiving there. What would have stopped him not to attack them? When you don't like a man, you want to give him a name, you kill the dog simply because you want to give it a name. People are poignant. People are interested to see that, they sue for discord. There is a continuous intention to raise a discord and to ensure that they benefit. There are those that are benefiting from these fracas, creating quagmires everywhere. And I want to tell you this, that there was a PDP NEC meeting. People were invited. How many of them? Some of them were not there. Are they members of the NEC? Go and look at the names. Some of them were chanting war songs. Here in Rivers State, what you hear is Asawana. Asawana. What does it represent? There is this consciousness, even a baby that is growing. What you hear from is Asawana, that so thing, they are chanting several war songs. And I'm sure the man in the studio will tell you the truth. If he's sincere enough, he has worked with the FCT minister for quite some decades. He has worked with him. Today, the FCT minister has
But
suddenly
sorry, let
become.
me come in here,
Let us be
Chimene.
frank to ourselves. Let us
Let me
be
come in
sincere to
here.
ourselves.
If you can hear me, because I hear
I
you
can
say,
hear
are
you.
they invited to the next meeting, the lawmakers? But I don't know if you followed where the Senate on Thursday adjourned plenary to allow PDP lawmakers attend the National Executive Council, which is NEC, because they felt they are also participants in the decision-making of the party going forward. So I'm sure that if they were not allowed, the Senate wouldn't have adjourned, or the House of Rep. So I do not know
The,
whether you are aware of
you,
that.
you're right. What I'm saying is that some came with ulterior motive. And these ulterior motives we are all unraveled. Here in the States, I know you're far from us here, but clearly when you look at the chants, when you look at the 90 guard that seem to be so warlike here, you will see that it was all planned here, cooked up here, down to Abuja. And I wonder, somebody was telling me that they would have effected the arrest here in River State. What if a man that have committed crime decides to go to another state? Does it stop the police not to effect an arrest? You see the level of impunity. So because you exercise such impunity here, and you think you can exercise it somewhere else, we must understand that we are ruled by constitution. Nigeria is ruled by the principle of constitution and constitutionalism. And I said, look, who are these people? I investigated myself. I went in, I said, look, why were these people arrested? Well, they were on the watch list from the available information. And I wonder, simply because there is crisis, then you begin to treat some persons as sacred cows. No, nobody's above
Who
the law.
released this watch
I can
list? Is
tell
it
you.
the government of River State? Is it the federal
No,
government?
I
Is
said
it the police?
they
Who
are
whose
under
watch list
the
is
police.
this?
The under
May I
police
respond,
crime,
please?
the police crime list. Police may
May I
have
respond,
investigated.
please?
When somebody is wanted, you are not above the law. If you're wanted by the police, they will effect an arrest. If you're
Okay.
wanted
May I
by the
respond,
police,
please?
they will effect an arrest.
Yeah.
And I think there is no, like I said, the FCT minister is not a member of the police. He is not the IG of the police. These are the rights and inherent powers of the police by virtue of Section 4. I don't know, like I said, there are interested members who are always calling the governor to give them a brief for them to go on air. Simply to dent the image of the governor, the FCT minister. It is disdaining. We are all elders, people that are of matured, people
May
that
I
are
come
of
in,
character.
Okay,
please?
all
To
right.
be
Okay,
able to
perhaps we
say
should
the truth.
let's bring Opunabo in all this. You were responding to what he said. Now I think it's time for him to respond to what you've been saying. Opunabo, let's hear from you.
Waffling. Please, can I come? There's no point waffling and shouting. You can make your point in a very decent and dignified manner. And
Thank
there's no
you.
point
You make
calling.
your own dissent,
There's no point calling names.
and you're very
First and
decent.
foremost.
Sorry,
First and
can we
foremost.
get to the issue, please? Can we get to the
Please.
issue? Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
First and foremost. We all know when you talk of, I mean, in the administration of justice, you don't cherry pick. Now you say there's an arson took place. You have 31 members of the House of Assembly. Why are you going to zero in on just those ones that are loyal to the government of the West? How are you going to rationalize that? Why is it that only those ones that are loyal to the government of the West are the ones on the watch list, like you said? And what is the Attorney General of the Federation has decided to take over the matter? On whose orders is the arrest, or on whose orders was the arrest made? Was it on the orders of the Attorney General? Now you've arrested this man. What are the facts you have? Because the police has not come out to say anything. Are you going to arrest and after that you investigate, or you ought to investigate before you arrest? Now, nobody is even saying the FCT minister is the one that ordered it.
But you said it.
I said, listen, you're using the office of the FCT, the abusers, the powers, because he's the FCT minister. Why was the arrest not made in Port Harcourt? That's what I said. Don't put words into my mouth. Why was the arrest not made in Port Harcourt? But because it is in Abuja, and you know that the man who's at loggerheads with the governor of Rivers State is the head he elsewhere in Abuja. And so you might use his under his cover, commit any crime you want to commit. That is my point. And number two, even if I said so, there's what you call deductive logic, deductive reasoning. And I said, if you look at the continuation of arrests in Rivers State that preceded the elections and during the elections, where so many persons were arrested on Trump charges, and even some of them were sued. And at the end of the day, their cases were withdrawn. after they reconcile. And that you have enough facts to bolster my claim. Enough. I can mention names. That's the point. Okay, what was Chemati? If you say they were on watch list, was Chemati on watch list? Why was he arrested? How can he justify that? If you actually said that because they were on watch list, was he on watch list? He was not. And I also want to know those who said, the informants who told the police, they should come out to say, Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C. And who was the one pointing those for the Ichemati and what's his name? Sokari? Yes. Who pointed those ones to the police? Was it not the Ikwere local government chairman? The videos are there. Was it not the Ikwere local government chairman? So what are we talking about? This is obviate the need for any further proof that yes, it is political pugilism. It's all about trying to intimidate the opposition. And when you say Messina is coming, look, let me tell you, the support you see the governors get is organic. Because it is a referendum of people's disapproval of the dictatorship of 8 years. It's organic. When they talk of Thanksgiving, wait, everybody has the right to do Thanksgiving. What of the FCT minister who lost media chat? Even if you have to commission 1 kilometer of road, you call the media. So if the Rivers people are saying, thank God, we've been hewed out of this mountain of depression and oppression. Let's have most of the times, do you see the governor there? The governor himself is not there. And if you talk of a relationship with the governor, right from when I worked with the FCT minister, I had a wonderful relationship with the governor. So it has nothing to do with because he's the governor today. Wonderful one for the past 8 years. But ever since he became a governor, I've not even been to government house. That's not my style.
You're taking brief.
That's not my style. So you mean if somebody comes on air to speak, that the person is holding brief for the other page, where has been commissioned? Is that your thinking? It is funny. Then why do you speak out? So if there's any ill in the society, you keep quiet until you're being called upon. No, it's not done that way. It's not done that way.
Okay, one thing.
The same meaning is not in the message, but in the message user.
One thing that's become.
It's all a matter of perception, what we see, what has happened, coupled with what has been happening, and what has been said.
But he says these men are on the watch list, and that the police has already gotten information about these men because, you mentioned about investigating 31 members of the State House of Assembly, but he's categorically said that these men are on the watch list. And the question is, watch list for what? We are yet unable to clarify that. But
is it not curious? Is it not curious that when you have a case of arson, out of 31 members, only 4 or 5 persons that are loyal to a particular group on watch list? Is it not curious? Is it not?
Perhaps we should ask. Maybe we should ask the barrister. Is it not curious, really? That's just like what Punabo said, that out of the so-called number of people that are supposed to be associated with this arson, it's only men who appear to be loyal to the governor that are on this so-called watch list. You want to respond to that?
Always, honestly, sir, yes, as a lawyer and also a journalist, there's what we call yellow journalism. I avoid taking indirect brief. I always want to speak from a omniscient point. There is no curiosity when it comes to police investigation. When once there is an order, it could be covert or overt. These men, first of all, let it be established, are not beyond the laws. And I'm sure that there may have been a petition. Like Opunabo is saying there, they may have a petition. We have seen petition covertly and overtly. And I think that we shouldn't be poignant at questioning the veracity of arrest. Police may carry effect an arrest, depending on what is written in the petition. Once there is a petition, of course, a complaint, the police will act on that complaint. And maybe it may be a time bomb. They may have acted so. This is not the first time we are seeing it. But what we are seeing is that on the part of governors and those of his followers, there is this overzealousness to ensure that they give a wrong judgment and sense of judgment to this particular arrest. The reason is that, like I said, the climate in Rivers State has been diluted with interest. And because it has been diluted with interest, nobody wants to know what is fair and what is just and what is even right in the eyes of the law. There is a level of unconstitutional movement to ensure that they decimate the climate of peace that we have had here under the FCT minister. And I think that it is like mixing words. Somebody is telling me about deductive reasoning. And there is what is called inductive reasoning in psychology. And I think that we shouldn't be philosophizing reality. At this point in time, what have they committed? Do you just, even when you have the Opunabo today, he has been within the media sector. He should be able to understand that when once there is a petition, the police will swing into action. And when once there is an investigation, they will effect an arrest. And these things could be done overtly and or covertly. And like I said, these are elementary aspects of law that any man within the corridors of media should understand. That at this point, what have they committed? Yes, their lawyers will go there, and not a media person. The lawyer will go there and ask, and I'm sure that it will not be hidden. We have seen a lot of terrorism case wherein the lawyers of the accused will go down to the court and ask the police, what has our client committed? And by virtue of the fundamental human right, it does not deprive anybody not to ask questions. It does not deprive the corridors of open doors not to attend to those that have been accused. They are allegedly accused until has been proven guilty. So simply because they are coming from the ambit of the governor, they should be immune of their crime. They should be immune of whatever offense that they have committed. We must understand that there must be sanity in Nigeria. And when police is on duty, the same Nigerians will say, look, they are not doing their work. There is a performance, and it is the hasty performance. Nobody knows the petition. Nobody knows what may have been written there. I had expected him to have sent his lawyers and not to speculate in the media. For me, I think this is just the worst kind of, the worst kind of followership. If we want to be accomplices or holding brief for the governor, then we must do what is right. We must do what is just and fair. Now, what you hear is that when once there is a crime emanating from the other side, whatever that happens wrong, whoever that is arrested in Abuja is under the orders of FCT minister. For God's sake, we must tell ourselves the truth. Do you know what is also going on here? Do you know how many persons on the orders of the governors who have been slapped and beaten? So we must be sincere to ourselves. Somebody is saying I'm shouting. And we really have to pass this information. We are gradually decimating this state, laundering this state into a situation that is even affecting investors. Are we looking at the economic damage? Are we looking at the political damage? People are shouting on daily basis. I'm not saying they shouldn't do their Thanksgiving, but are you not doing it with the state works? Are we not doing it even though they are shouting that the IGR has skyrocketed? Go and look at the level of expenses that is being done. Is that not reverse money? So I think in all of these things, we begin to juxtapose. Now you're saying that the local government chairman was involved. He was the one pointing at. So the police is so blind that they can't look at. They don't know the person that has committed crime. We must be just sincere to ourselves. And I think that we have gotten up to the extent that we have now eroded, there is an erosion of, values in our political system. People now believe that what is wrong should prevail. And for me, I think this is just the worst kind of politics that is prevailing in Rivers State.
Opunabo, let me just bring you here just to give us your final thoughts just before we go. You've listened to him. He said perhaps those men on the watch list were brought on the watch list as a result of petition, and perhaps the other 31 or the remaining numbers could also be under investigation. But he's also alluded to the fact that there has been some level of, perhaps intimidation on certain persons who were also loyal to the Minister of the FCT. And
very soon, I can extrapolate, I can glean from what the questions you've asked so far, because I heard him clearly as well. Quickly, I strongly impugn that. I don't think that is true. I question the veracity of that claim, because we all are aware of the governor's placid nature. Even when most times he's been guarded, he's been asked to react to certain things, he will tell you is of no need. And you talk of even the IGRO, that is even quite curious as well, because, within 1 year, under depressed economy, you're talking of an IGRO increasing by 100%. That speaks volumes. It tells you what happened in the last 8 years. Because it's moving from, if it's increased from 100%, and you talk of on the depressed economy, what does that tell you? That there are no decent disclosures concerning the IGR before then. So let's not even go to the IGR. I don't even want to talk about that. Then if you also talk about of course, I've talked about responded to the issue of the certain players that have been beaten, slapped at the behest of the governor, or because they belong to the other faction. Well, I strongly impugn that, because I've never heard. If there are cases like that, let him mention.
I will hear.
If there are cases like, look, when we are talking, I wasn't talking. Please, let me talk. If there are cases like that, let him mention the cases. I can mention cases of trumped up charges that some of them were even dropped after the reconciliation. Some are even on the other, are with him today. But I can mention their names. So what are we talking about? He's talking of mercenaries, sending mercenaries. What mercenaries? Even if the governor hears today that Ublaboy Kotara went on air, he will say it is not necessary. He will tell you, look, let my works speak for me. And that's why on so many cases, the floodings have always outweighed the brickbats. Because he's not a man interested in brickbats. He's not interested at all. His own is the job.
Okay,
Now,
at the end of the day, they say when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. It looks as if the grass that is suffering in all this, the Rivers State people. The political situation, which we really did hope was going to get sorted out with the intervention of the presidency and all that, doesn't seem as if that's had much effect. And at the end of the day, it looks like the people are going to be the worse off for it.
The governor has implemented all, save just few. In fact, the most annoying to them is the issue of the budget. And it's in court. The matter is in court. So the hands of the governors are fettered. And that is the most worrisome. That is the most disturbing. And that's why even the Speaker of the House of Assembly threatened again to impeach the governor, to commence another impeachment proceeding. It was life. It wasn't said in the secret. It was life. So the issue of the 8-point agenda, I mean, about 6 of them the governor have fulfilled about 6 of them. Look at you imposing the commissioners on a sitting governor. Not even the FCC minister would have brooked that. On a sitting governor. And the so-called commissioners and so on are still not respectful, not loyal to the sitting governor. They've said it on several occasions that they pledged their loyalty to the FCT minister. No governor was going to brook that. How else? What else do you want the man to do? To cut his head? Do you want his head severed for him to know that he's ready for peace in the state?
Let's bring in Barrister Wadi.
Finally.
Let's bring in Barrister Wadi on this and hear what he has to say. We're talking about the politics in the state, I mean, which we thought was going to take a turn for the better, but clearly looks like it's taking a turn for the worst. What's your take on going forward?
And your final words, please.
That way.
Well, I'm not good at wrong symphony. I haven't gotten to a particular extent of life. Robert Greene in 46 laws of power, in 48 laws of power, the 46 law said that no man should appear perfect, too perfect. It is unfortunate that we have those that we should look at as our role models have turned out to be something else. These days, you can see an eroded value. Here, there is a high level of deception. I want to tell the governor to be very aware and very careful concerning those that are singing his songs today. They did same to Odele, and they shouted Odele, ye, 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 ye. And they did same to Amechi. They did same to Jonathan.
All right, that's as much we can take from the gentleman. We apologize for having to take it from there, but we hear you loud and clear, both making cautionary measures on both parties involved.
Yeah, we were speaking with political analyst Opunabo Kotaria and a legal practitioner, Chimene Wodi, on the issues arising, the matters arising from the political situation in River State.